Hello everyone. Today I want to share a very personal story with you. It's about something many of us know we should do, but often put off. It's about exercise. And for me, this journey truly began when I turned 30 years old. Before that birthday, my life was, well, comfortable. I had a good job, and my days usually looked the same. I'd wake up, maybe quickly grab a coffee, then head to the office. My work involved sitting in front of a computer for many hours, solving problems, sending emails. After work, I was often tired. I'd go home, perhaps cook a simple meal, and then relax on the sofa, watching TV or reading. The idea of moving my body, especially after a long day, felt like a chore, not a choice. My evenings were quiet, peaceful, but also very still. I wasn't really unhealthy, but I wasn't active either. I would occasionally feel a little stiff or tired in the mornings. Sometimes, I'd look in the mirror and think, maybe I should eat less cake. But these thoughts usually faded away quickly. Exercise was something other people did, the super energetic ones, or those training for big races. It wasn't for me, or so I thought. My social life was mostly about meeting friends at cafes for chats, or enjoying nice dinners out. We'd talk about work, future plans, or just laugh about silly things. It was a good life, full of warm conversations and delicious food. But physical activity simply wasn't a part of it. My body felt fine. Just fine. Not great, not terrible, just fine. It was a comfortable routine, and I didn't see a strong reason to change it. But then, the number 30 arrived, and with it, a subtle shift in my mind. It wasn't a sudden shock, more like a quiet whisper. I started noticing things a little more, how easily I got breathless climbing stairs, how my energy levels dipped in the afternoon, or how sometimes my thoughts felt a bit cloudy. This new decade felt like a doorway, and I began to wonder what kind of health and energy I wanted to carry through it. The seed of an idea, a very small one, began to plant itself. What if there was more to feeling fine?
That quiet whisper I mentioned about feeling fine slowly grew louder. It wasn't a crisis, but more like a series of small nudges. One afternoon, I saw an old friend, Alex, who I hadn't met in years. Alex used to be quite busy, just like me, always tired. But now, Alex looked different. Their eyes were bright, their skin had a healthy glow, and they moved with an easy energy. When I asked what had changed, Alex simply smiled and said, "I started moving, a little every day." That conversation stuck with me. Then, there was the annual company health check. I got my results back, and while nothing was seriously wrong, the doctor mentioned a few numbers that were borderline. My blood pressure was a little higher than it should be, and my cholesterol wasn't perfect. The doctor suggested very kindly, more activity, less sitting. Hearing it from a doctor made it feel more real, more urgent. It wasn't just about feeling fine anymore, it was about preventing future problems. My comfortable routine suddenly didn't feel so safe. Around this time, I also noticed how my mind felt sometimes. After long hours at work, my thoughts would get messy. It was hard to focus, and I often felt a bit stressed, even when there was no clear reason. I would try to solve problems at night, but my brain felt slow and heavy. I read an article that talked about how exercise can help clear your mind and reduce stress. Could it really be true? Could moving my body actually help my brain? This idea was quite intriguing. The biggest push, however, came from a small everyday moment. One sunny Saturday, I was walking in a park, something I rarely did. I saw children playing, running, and laughing without a care. Their energy was amazing. Then I saw an older person, probably in their 70s, easily jogging along the path, looking strong and happy. I looked down at my own shoes, feeling a bit sluggish. A clear thought hit me. I want to feel like that. I want to have that energy, that freedom in my body, no matter my age. It wasn't about looking perfect or running a marathon. It was about feeling better, inside and out. It was about avoiding those borderline numbers. It was about having more mental clarity and less stress. It was about finding that natural, joyful energy I saw in the park. The comfortable routine that had defined my early 30s suddenly seemed dull, even a little bit risky. I started to think, what if I don't try? What will my life be like in another 10 years if I stay exactly the same? The thought of missing out on a healthier, more energetic future became a stronger motivation than any fear of trying something new. The stage was set for a change, and I knew it was time to take a first small step.
The decision to actually start exercising wasn't like flipping a switch. It was more like trying to open a very stiff door. I tried going to a gym once. It was full of strong, sweaty people, and all the machines looked confusing. I felt small and a little bit silly. After about 20 minutes, I left. This isn't for me, I thought. The old comfortable routine pulled me back, strong as ever. But the quiet whisper, and Alex's healthy glow, and the doctor's words, they didn't completely disappear. A few weeks later, I was scrolling online, feeling restless. An advertisement for a beginner's yoga class popped up. No experience needed, it said. Focus on gentle movements and breathing. It sounded less scary than the gym. It was a small studio, close to my home. I took a deep breath and clicked sign up. The first class was interesting. I was not flexible at all. My body felt stiff like an old piece of wood. When the instructor, a calm woman with a kind smile, asked us to touch our toes, I could barely reach my knees. My muscles felt strange, and my mind kept wandering back to my work emails. I felt a little embarrassed. But then, during the last few minutes, when we just lay on the floor and breathed deeply, something shifted. A wave of calm washed over me. It was a feeling I hadn't noticed in a long time. A real, deep sense of peace. This small feeling was my turning point. It wasn't about running fast or lifting heavy weights. It was about finding a moment of peace, a connection with my own body that felt surprisingly good. It wasn't a sudden burst of energy, but a quiet, clear feeling. This is what I need. This is how I can start. I decided to go back. And then again. Each time, I was a tiny bit better. My body was still stiff, but my mind started to focus more. I learned to breathe deeply, and I started to notice small changes. My shoulders felt less tight, and the afternoon slump at work wasn't as heavy. The stress that used to sit in my head like a dark cloud began to lift a little. It was a gradual change, almost unnoticeable day to day, but looking back at my initial stiffness, it was a huge step. This wasn't the end of a big adventure, it was the quiet start of one. The climax wasn't a race won, but a small, internal victory. It was the moment I realized that exercise wasn't just about my body, but about my mind and my spirit too. It wasn't a chore anymore, it was becoming a path to something better. The comfortable life I had before felt a little less appealing, and the new, active path, though still challenging, felt surprisingly right. I had found my reason, and it was much more than just numbers on a health check.
After that small victory in the yoga class, my journey didn't become perfect overnight. There were days I felt tired, days I didn't want to move, and days I almost gave up. But now I had a deeper reason. It wasn't just about my body. It was about the feeling of calm, the clearer mind, and the energy that slowly started to grow inside me. I continued with yoga, and after a few months, I added short walks in the park. I started noticing the green leaves on the trees more, the sound of birds singing, and the fresh air. My walks became a time for thinking clearly, or sometimes, for thinking about nothing at all. This simple act of walking felt like a meditation. My body felt lighter and my steps became quicker. The most important changes weren't just physical. My mind became sharper. Problems at work that used to seem huge and stressful now felt more manageable. I could think more calmly and find solutions more easily. The cloudy feeling in my head slowly cleared, replaced by a sense of alertness. This new mental clarity made my work more enjoyable and less tiring. And then there was my mood. I found myself smiling more, feeling more positive about small things, even on rainy days. The stress and worries didn't disappear completely, but they didn't feel so heavy anymore. It was like I had found a way to let go of negative thoughts more easily. My friends even started to notice. "You seem different," they would say. "Happier, more energetic." That made me feel really good. My health check results also started to improve. The borderline numbers moved back to a healthy range. My doctor looked pleased and encouraged me to keep going. This was a clear sign that my efforts were working, not just in how I felt, but in real, measurable ways. Now, exercise isn't a chore, it's a part of who I am. It's my time to reset, to get stronger, and to bring peace to my mind. It's not about being the fastest or the strongest. It's about feeling good, thinking clearly, and keeping a positive outlook on life. My comfortable, still life at 30 has transformed into an active, energetic, and much more fulfilling one. This journey showed me that exercise is about so much more than just a healthy body. It's about a healthy mind, a peaceful spirit, and a truly positive way of living. And it all started with a quiet whisper and a small step. I hope my story encourages you to find your own reason to move too.